Shiro, Donovan, and I went to go see the new Smile movie. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am LeftEye E.G.O, and today I'm actually going to give my critique of a movie that the Shiro and I saw with her cousin Donovan called Smile. So, I know a lot of people may not know, but my absolute favorite genre of movies is the revenge type movies. We're talking your John Wicks, your Expendables, things like that. Me good guy, you bad guy do me wrong, me go shoot 'em up, bang, bang, bang. But right next to that, that I also really enjoy is watching horror movies. So ever since the Shiro and I've been together, we've always watched those crazy possession type movies where it's the nun that gets possessed by the devil, or devils trying to exorcise God out of a priest. Movies like that. It's that weird, altering, supernatural type of deal. Shiro's cousin Donovan came to visit last about maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're talking about movies that are coming out. And he says, "Hey, have you guys heard about this movie called Smile?" So I said, "No, sounds kind of weird, but who would name a movie that's a horror movie called Smile?" So he passes me the phone and he lets me watch the trailer. Watching the trailer, I was like, huh, this looks kind of interesting, a little bit creepy, a little bit eerie. By the end of the trailer, the phone was lava. I threw the phone up in the air and I was throwing punches everywhere because it scared me shitless, to tell you the truth. All right. So I said, after I saw that, I'm in. He came to visit me and Shiro this past weekend, and we all went out to go see Smile. So I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Good, scary, eerie type of factor movie, and kind of different from your general just jump scare movies. So what I wanted to do is I said, hey, this would be a great movie to review. Tell you guys what was great about it, certain things that I saw on there that Shiro noted as well, and go ahead and give it out to you guys to have you guys either see if you want to watch the movie or give your own critiques after you've seen it. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to grade the movie on several different factors. Those would be your casting, your plot, the pace of the movie, and that scary, eerie factor as well. And so I gave it a rank of 1 to 5, but because it's my channel, we're not doing 1 star to 5 stars. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. We're doing 1 to 5 egos. That's right. Where one ego is humble. We don't do that around here, all right? We want to go up to a maximum of about 5 egos. 5 egos means this movie was certified sick because it had delusions of grandeur. So with that, I'll go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about about the movie, explain some of the characteristics of it, and then I'll go into the grading and final thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and give you guys the synopsis of Smile. All right. And I check this out here. Yeah. So, after witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. So, this movie actually came out not too long ago. I believe it came out like September 30th of this year. So kind of right around that time for Halloween. And so far, it's actually grossed about $88.9 million globally, which is really good considering that when I looked at the casting, there weren't any actual A-list celebrities that you would know right off the top of your head. And also, what I learned when I actually went back and looked at this was that they actually did some old school viral campaigning. They were at different events where where some of the main characters or even the side characters just stood behind a camera and started smiling really creepily. It was very unsettling because they were doing this what was seen at live televised events, and so it actually had them wear the T-shirt that said "Smile," so people would check it out and find out, oh my goodness, this is actual campaigning for the movie. So it was really great, even though it was kind of planned. It seemed organic to those that didn't really know, as opposed to like I guess, a flash mob of marketing. So, and I actually really, really like that they did that. I'll tell you one thing. Before I even start this, you smile at me the way those characters were smiling at the camera. I'm fighting you on sight. All right. You either mean me some harm or you got something wrong with you. You smile at me like that, you take two steps, I'm getting all the hands. All right. As I tell my wife when someone tries to talk to her, guy tries to talk to her, hey, he's gonna get action, Jackson. Okay. All right. So with the casting, we've got Susie Bacon as Dr. Rose Cotter, who plays the psychiatrist. She's the main character on there. We've got Jesse T. Usher, who plays her fiance Trevor. Now, you might know Mr. Usher from the roles that he played as A Train in The Boys, and I believe he played Shaft Jr. in the last Shaft movie. So, kind of one of the characters you would know. We've got Cal Penn actually playing the chief, I guess, psychiatrist that's there, Dr. Morgan Desai, and we've got Robin Wiegert that plays Dr. Madeline Northcutt, and we've also got Kyle Gallner, who plays a police officer named Joel. So it actually took me a second to go back when I saw his face because it looked quite familiar. But I hadn't seen him in anything since Veronica Mars or one of my favorite adaptations of a Flash character in Bart Allen when he was in Smallville. So it was nice to see him actually have a role in this movie as well. So when I looked at this, they weren't all household names immediately. You would see the name and maybe not recognize them, but you see the face and be like, oh, I've seen them in maybe one or two things. I liked the fact that we had Cal Penn kind of playing against type. I know that usually he plays the I guess the ironically funny character, or he's usually in the raucous comedies like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. But it was really great seeing him tackle a serious role as the chief resident psychiatrist at this hospital. And you know what? I actually really like that part because it's really great when you've got relatively unknown actors and actresses in horror because you can't really tell where the acting with them could be going. What is their look of surprise? What is their look of shock? What is their look of absolute horror? If they're playing this type of, I guess, an entity that's taking over, are you actually making those faces yourself? Am I believing that you're playing the entity? Are you playing yourself? It actually was great that you actually had to guess the character's motivations instead of saying, oh, he usually plays the weirdo, or hey, he usually plays, the nice guy. It was actually everyone kind of just finding out what their roles were while you're watching it as well, which was great. And it made it all the more eerie when these characters actually did smile. Not all of them did smile, but when they did, because it was held back, the movie was subdued, it really, really got you. So now that I'm going based off of the casting on this, I'm gonna give it four egos. No, four egos. Got a big ego on that one. I'll give you. That's what four will get you. So now that we're getting to the plot of it all right. Uh, the plot, as I gave you from the synopsis, is really kind of a very, very slow descent into madness, and it's told only from the perspective of Rose. Uh, Therefore, she's our vehicle to take to determine whether what she's experiencing is actually real or imagined. And I actually really like the fact that they mixed some of the I guess seemingly supernatural horror elements with the that psychological eerie feeling. And I actually like the fact that they made this take place with a psychiatrist because they have her go through the logical progressions of, what she's seeing, what she thinks she's seeing, what she's feeling, who can I actually turn to when I'm usually the person that people that are seeing things turn to me. So when now I'm having the problem, who do I actually see? And so it kind of cuts through a lot of those questions, a layman would ask themselves if they're seeing things, because if they're a doctor, they're saying, well, I could just take medication for this. Maybe it's an episode, or they try to go through all of these logical explanations for why Rose is experiencing what she's experiencing. And, she winds up coming to a conclusion, but she's going through this complete scientific method that was great for that type of character. I really enjoyed the way she kind of figured things out as she went. Great thing about the plot of this movie was the fact that we didn't even figure out why what was happening to her was happening until about a good 2/3 of the way into the movie. So the plot was enough to keep your attention and hold it as she's searching for clues, looking for answers, trying to figure out whom she can rely on or whom she can divulge what's going on with her. And while we're talking about plot, I'm gonna let y'all know one thing. Jesse T. Usher plays the fiance Trevor in this movie, right? I know the trope is that the black guy always dies first in a horror movie, but look at me. Never have I ever wanted the black guy die first so badly as when I saw Trevor. Jesse T. Usher did a fantastic job of playing this guy Trevor because he made me so upset. He was always late to whatever happened, didn't ask no questions. The questions he did ask didn't make no damn sense. And whenever he got confronted, he had this weird inflection. What do you mean, Rose? This is gonna be for you. No, we gotta get to this, Rose. I, I can't believe you're saying this right now. I was like, please, if you have a knife, stab him for me. I won't even cry. I won't cry racism. I won't say the black guy always got to go. I will say he deserved every stabbing that he could get because he annoyed me that much because Jesse T. Usher did that great of a job on it. Okay. So, you know what? Based off of that, and I'm going to have to tell you that I'll probably have to give that about 4 egos. Let's move on to the pace on here. So, the best way that I can describe Smile is a slow burn. Not a very slow burn, but a slow burn nonetheless. I reiterate the fact that this is shown mainly from Rose's point of view, and she's essentially our vehicle into gaining the answers into what she's experiencing, if it's real or imagined. So the thing with that is that there is zero dramatic irony. There's nothing that we know that she doesn't know, and there's nothing that she knows that we don't know. So because of that, we're all finding everything out together. So it's a very slow and methodic, almost scientific pacing of how they're trying to collect, gather, prove, verify, predict. It's a very scientific method. And so I will say that it did make some of the jump scares worth it with that pacing because they intersperse some of the jump scares with a lot of the fact finding and the dialogue of the movie. Now, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I cheat when it comes to these movies. Uh, I have hearing loss, so I wear hearing aids. Interesting thing about that is if you ever go to a movie theater and you go to like the I guess it's the customer section, like the customer service section, you can ask for a closed captioning device. And what they'll do is they'll give you what looks like a large snake with a box at the top. And you can actually kind of screw that into your cup holder. And what it'll do is it'll actually display the captions of the movie. So if you get it just right, you can actually read the captioning while you're watching the movie. So I actually cheat when I watch these movies because what happens is when there's dialogue and there's actually going to be, let's say, someone that gets interrupted or there's a crash or a jump scare, you'll usually see, whoops, you'll actually see you'll see where there's actually that scene coming up. So there was this there's a scene in the movie where Rose is trying to listen to an audio of the patient and she's leaning in because she's trying to hear what's being said on the audio section. I can actually see it because I'm reading it. And the thing is, Shiro's like, what's that? So I slide over the box, like, that's what she's saying. She's like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, America's disabilities accommodations are awesome. Dope, even. So, anyway, so it actually helped me with some of the pacing because I actually kind of took my mind off and got to read and look what I was doing. because otherwise, had we not gotten the 7:40 showing, had we gone around like 8:30 or 9, I would have been kind of dozing because they had these stretches where it was just mainly dialogue and fact finding, but it made the pacing seem a lot slower. So, you know what? Basically, because of that, I have to give the pacing on this one two egos. Two. So now on to, the one thing I actually really like to talk about is the scary, eerie factor. So I really enjoyed this film because it's not so much that they had so many jump scares. It's the fact that they made their jump scares count by making things extremely uncomfortable and eerie before you got to the jump scares. It's not like you could necessarily predict them. Maybe there are one or two, but you didn't know if they were going to just show it to you with no context and be completely quiet, which is by far way scarier to me. Because one of the first things that was creepy was, I'm not even gonna say it, but it's within the first maybe 10 to 15 minutes of the movie. And the thing is that I know I'm blind in one eye, but I'm over here, and my wife got two eyes. Her cousin Donovan got two eyes. I'm looking dead at this scene, and I'm like, baby, baby, look, 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 look. Look, 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 babe, look, look. She's like, I can't see it. I'm like, I know, but do you see it? She's like, yes, she sees it. And I was like, all right, cool, cool. Cool, because it was that uncomfortable seeing. It was so uncomfortable that if I saw it, I need to make sure someone else is seeing it so that I'm not freaked out, because that's where I was headed with it. It was that creepy. It was kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen the Korean horror movie A Tale of Two Sisters. There's that one scene where one of the sisters is sleeping, the other one's awake, and they just show an entity that's at the corner of the room. There's no sound, and it gets closer and closer and closer, and there's no sound. And the entity stands up, and then you kind of hear a sound, but it's really quick when she stands up and just freaks you the hell out. The scares and the eerie factor for this movie were on par with that. I mean, it was, you would see it, but they would have no context, or you would hear it and they wouldn't show anything. Like there's a section where they're like, "Hey, turn around," and I was like, Don't even turn around. I don't even know what to do right now. I would run out the house." But they didn't do the jump scare then, which made it again all the more terrifying when they had that "Dun," and they're in your face. It would just freak you out. Not gonna lie, I was told that when there was the first scene that was a scare, I screamed. I I was told that. Wasn't me. I don't think that was me. That wasn't Ego. That was Brigo. That's my evil twin Brigo. He likes to scream when he sees jump scares, and he blames it on Ego. That's who that was. Yes, blame Brigo. Based off of that and the creepy factor, I would have it to give it. Actually, I wanted to give it a 5 egos, but I talked to Shiro, and she noticed something that I didn't, and it was when they actually did the scenes where they were smiling. It's the people that you would expect to smile that didn't, and the people that didn't, you were like, well, there really isn't necessarily uh, the deepest of connections on. You'll have to watch that part to get what I'm saying, is the fact that you would expect certain people that she really, really, really cares about to be the ones smiling at her, as opposed to, like, one of her patients perhaps. So I would have to say that's the only thing that kept it being from absolute delusions of grandeur. But I'll give it a 4 egos. It was a big ego on that one. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you've seen the movie, were interested in the movie, or had any questions with some non-spoilers. If you want spoilers, hit me up in the DMs. I can tell you all about it, because but anyway, like this video, share, subscribe to the channel. But for now, this is Ego out.